There's a fair amount of school choice within the system and without of the system. Let's meet a couple of those folks who are a big part of that. From the Independence Institute, Pam Benigno, who runs our Education Policy Center. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, John.
And this lovely young lady, Deanna De La Rosa. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you go to a school called Arrupe Jesuit High School.
Yes.
Now, this is a school that only accepts students from lower income families.
Yes.
And there's a little extra work you have to do to be in this private school. What is it?
Well, we actually have a program there called the Corporate Work Study Program, where Arrupe partners with corporate partners in the workforce, and each student there has a job. And that job helps pay for part of their tuition, our tuition.
So they actually put you to work.
Yes.
So you spend a day a week working so that you can afford the tuition to go to the school.
Yeah.
Is it just about getting the tuition, or is it a pretty good experience?
No, yeah, I think it's more than that. You know, we're able to develop work skills. Like once we graduate, we have that work experience, and we're able to build connections with people. We're able to have that work experience that some adults don't even have, you know?
You actually have a resume, you actually have met people, you've got work experience, you've got references, and a lot of people getting out of school have none of that. I hear you're working currently for a rather questionable company. How's that going?
It's going great. I work at the Independence Institute.
Oh,
yeah, in the
nice.
education department.
You liking it?
Yeah, I love it so much.
All right, now you told me this was the worst employee you've ever had in your department. Why is that?
Why is that? Oh, because she's just so good. She's so impressive that I have to ask for her help sometimes.
Well, and this, from your point of view, this has got to be somewhat of seeing a dream come true, in that you've put together a series of profiles of private schools, because we keep hearing private schools aren't good for lower income people. Private schools, there's no real advancement for handicapped people or for troubled youth. And you and senior fellow Ross Izzard have put together a series really blowing a hole in this one. So Arrupe falls right into that.
Absolutely. Arrupe was, in fact, our first in the series. And it just lays it out and explains the corporate work study program and the kids that are there and the wonderful experiences they receive.
And just as she's getting all that wonderful work experience, we're getting a lot of great stuff in return that we never imagined.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So for instance, this year, Deanna is, she is fluent in Spanish and speaking and writing, and that's what I wanted, was a student that could help us in that area to go along with our School Choice for Kids website in Spanish and English and the Facebook pages. So she's been making videos in Spanish, and then we post those. She looks for Spanish articles, Spanish language articles. She's doing a lot of database work for me as well, looking up information on private schools.
She does these terrific videos for us about the educational programs and how to find more choice, but we have no idea what she's really saying. So I think she's saying terrible things
well,
about
I've
us.
been a little concerned about it myself.
I can imagine. You told me something that blew my mind, that 100% of the students in your school get accepted to college.
Yes.
Not that they necessarily go, but they're all accepted to college?
Yeah.
How is that?
Well, I think that a lot of it does stem from the Corporate Work Study Program, but at the same time, Arrupe, they're really great at helping us students really succeed and be able to kind of like get opportunities for us, especially if we are lower income. They're really great at helping us achieve our goals.
If you didn't have this private school to go to, which is giving you real world work experience and connections and references, where would you be going to school likely? Do you know?
I'd probably be at a public school. Not really sure.
And she actually started in the public school system and then decided to go to a charter school. I'd love to hear.
Tell me about that part. You went to a government school, then you went to a charter school, which is also run by the government, but it's a little different. Why?
Well, I went to a public school at first, like Pam said, and then a charter school. I went to Strive Prep charter schools, and my parents had heard many great things about Strive Prep, and the courses there were very rigorous and structured, and I have always been a really advanced student, so that was a really great fit school for me. And then I decided, well, my parents also heard many great things about Arrupe and how successful students were there. And I decided, I was kind of upset at first, well, discouraged, I guess you can say, since I heard that it was a private Catholic school. But we later heard...
Why were you discouraged?
Well, because many people usually say that private schools are expensive and that they're really hard to get into, you know?
So you were discouraged because you thought there's no way your family could afford this private
school.
Yeah. Well, how did you get in?
Well, Arrupe offers a lot of financial help for families and also scholarships. They have a lot of scholarships there, and the corporate work study, like I said, helps pay for part of my tuition as well.
And she has a scholarship.
Let's talk about that part of it as well. So part of your tuition is paid for by you working, and all the jobs, it's not like you have to go find the job. The school helps find a job. For instance, we give Arrupe some money for this incredible employee. But that doesn't cover it all. Private money from private people come in. Tell me a little bit about that aspect of it.
Sure. We have 4 scholarship organizations in our state, and she so happens to be receiving a scholarship from ACE Scholarship. Great friends, well, we're friends with all of them. And so private donors are donating money to ACE, and they turn around and give scholarships.
What would really be helpful,
kids.
what would be even more helpful, is if Colorado did a little bit what other states do, which is to encourage people to give to more people like Deanna. How would they do that?
Well, there's actually 19 states that have passed laws where when you donate to an organization like ACE Scholarship or Seeds of Hope, you would receive a tax credit rather than just a tax deduction. And that's much more of an incentive to give, and has shown that those organizations are going to bring in more money. For instance, in Georgia, for instance, they'll bring in, I'm not sure exactly the amount this next year, but let's just say $65 million, and they'll usually meet that on January 1st.
Enough kids want this choice.
Yeah.
And to give folks an idea of the difference between a tax credit and a deduction, Colorado prioritizes a tax credit to people who buy Teslas. So if you buy a Tesla in this state, they will give you $6,000 in cash, not just a deduction, but in cash. But if you wanted to help out people like Deanna, you don't get any tax credit. So we want to give sports cars to rich white guys more than helping out young people like you. I find that very, very insulting. There have been efforts to change that. How goes that?
Oh, it's a little slow. Not everyone at our state capitol is supportive of such an idea. I think a lot of that has to do with the teachers union actually having control over certain legislators.
Just too bad, because how do you look into this young lady's eyes and say it's not working? It is working. I want more people to do it. How do your parents feel about this?
They are grateful. That's all I can say. They're really thankful for everyone that has helped out. You know, like this is such a big opportunity, and it's helped me so much, and it's helped them so much, and they work so hard for me to be successful. And
what do they do?
Right, their jobs?
Yeah, their jobs.
My mom doesn't work, but my dad, he works, he paints like railings and different things like that, yeah.
They work hard.
Yeah, he works very hard.
Now this is one of the many options, and you have dedicated so much time to helping people find options like this. And maybe this is a good fit for someone's child, maybe it isn't, but there are definitely options that people have. Where do they go to learn more, and what is it they learn?
Well, the Independence Institute has a website called schoolchoiceforkids.org. It's in English and Spanish, and we have all of the public schools and all the public school options in the state on this website, as well as the private schools, and information about scholarship organizations as well.
It's more than that. This website that you've developed over years, not only English, Spanish, it has a map. You put in your address, you can see what's around you,
Yes.
what the differences are. If you want to homeschool, it helps you understand what you have to do that, and where you have to go. If you want to find a school like this, where you can find the money to do it. Give me that website one more time.
Sure. www.schoolchoiceforkids.org. That's it. If you want to find a Montessori school, you can go in, put your
Find it all
address,
there.
Montessori school.
Pam, thank you, and thank you so much for everything. Read me in the Denver Post, listen to me on KHOW Radio, tell a friend about the Independence Institute, that's thinkfreedom.org, and we'll see you next week.